Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in with us today. This broadcast was brought to you by Serenity Comfort and Care. We provide mental health services needed to help you be the person you were designed and desired to be one step at a time. To reach this guest, please contact us at 980-221-0064 or by emailing us at wmcwilliams@serenitycscare.com. You may listen to this entire broadcast on the Divine Serenity Experience Facebook page. Thank you and God bless. Hello, this is your girl Wanda McWilliams, and I'm here today with the Divine Serenity Experience. And we are doing a series this month, and through the month of April on God is telling her story. And today I have a guest with us who is an author, and her name is Laquisha Martin Hillian. She is a journalist, I apologize. She attained her Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology and Sociology and a Master's in Gerontology at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Laquisha had 20 plus years of experience in human services, including social worker at Atrium Health and adult protective services. Martin Hillian prides herself in her compassionate approach when working with individuals diagnosed with dementia, mental illness, and developmental differences. Laquisha is an author of Pearly Gates and Spiritual Resume, Wounded Warriors Making Meaningful Movements. She is also the executive director of Bernice Unwavering Fearless Faith, also BUFF. Laquisha serves her local church as a grief share facilitator, encourager on call, and her passion of coming alongside individuals as they grieve while encouraging them to feel however they need to feel. We have today with us Laquisha Hillman Martin. I messed that up again. I always do one take. Oh my God. Laquisha Healing. Why can't I get that right?
Let's just keep going. Just go.
Well, he's gonna they're gonna edit it.
Okay.
So I would do the what you call it, the what do you call it, the intro separately, and they can just edit it and add it on. Okay.
Okay.
Hello, Miss Lucretia. How are you doing today?
I am doing well, Wanda. Thank you for having me.
I am so glad that you saw it fit to come in today. I consider it a great honor for you to be here today. As I gave you a bio, I can add so many other things to that, but let me just ask you, as we are talking about our topic this month on God is telling her story, when you think of that particular phrase, is there anything in particular that stands out for you? I know we have your bio, but just when you think about God telling your story, even in 2025, what do you think stands out for you?
I strongly feel what stands out for me right now is laboring in my grief with God.
Hmm.
And it definitely speaks on my grief journey from the past 2 years.
Okay. Is there anything you want to elaborate on with that subject of grief?
Yes, 2 years ago, 2022, my mom, Bernice Martin, she was diagnosed with lung cancer, small cells lung cancer in February of 2022, and she transitioned November the 8th of 2022.
Okay. And prior to that, I know that you had written a book, Pearly Gates. Can you give us some information on that particular book as it relates to our audience. So we have individuals who are also going through grief. How would you say that particular book, Pearly Gates, would be beneficial to our audience?
Pearly Gates actually is a book that speaks about my journey with my cousin Pearlie, but also how God connected us in so many different ways. Pearly Gates actually speaks on grief, love, peace, and pain, how God will stretch you in moments where you feel as if you could not be stretched.
Mhm.
So, with my journey with Pearlie, I would say prior to that, I was tremendously fearful of death. And he talks about death, the loss of my loved ones. And that journey with her helped me to see death in a different light. It allowed me to see what God and how God can truly move in death. And it's not always so paralyzing.
Right,
Um, so I was able to truly see her transition um, from this earth. And again, it's a beautiful moment, although it was a painful moment, but it truly shifted me and my mindset in a totally different direction.
so let me ask you a question. We can all go to the dictionary, we can go to Google and look up grief and get a definition. How would you describe grief?
I would say grief is a it's a lifetime journey filled with mixed emotions that comes, goes unexpectedly. Along with that, it's a moment of shedding and
Mhm.
surrendering yourself to God.
Oh, that's good. And is that something you experienced after the death of your cousin, or were you aware of that prior to that?
I feel that the death of my cousin allowed me to trust God in a different way. Um, that what I realized and definitely didn't focus on prior to Pearlie passing was death is a part of life. That is something that we will all go through. And
Mhm.
there is no control that we have over that.
Mhm.
Um, with that being said, I do feel that with Pearlie, she gave me something that I didn't know I had, and that was the courage to truly see someone and be there for someone in the time as they're transitioning. And that was something that I was very fearful of. So I think in that, again, it was a transformation that I never saw coming and never imagined that it could happen to me directly. And that set the tone as I would continue to move forward, but never would have imagined that 5 years after that, I would then be with my mom and see her too transition.
So let me ask you a question. Writing the book, was it healing in the book? Did it help you go through the process?
It did, but honestly, I it wasn't my intentions at that point to write a book. It
Okay.
was it actually developed as I joined um, the church,
Hmm.
New Beginnings, and I wanted to find something of interest. So I did the counseling. ministry, and it was supposed to be a 2 to 3 page assignment.
Oh,
That is how it
okay.
transpired.
Mm-hmm.
And I went home, I started typing, and what I realized was when I finished, it was so much more than that. And I journaled throughout the process or throughout that from April the 1st of 2017 to the end of April when I was going alongside Pearlie. So I journaled throughout. So I was able to go back to my journals and plug in some things into that, what developed into Pearlie Gates. So what was a simple assignment that I thought
Mm-hmm.
was something bigger for not only me, but hopefully for others.
So right now, if you were to market that book, and I know you've done some book signings and some promotions on this book, who would be most helped by that particular book that you wrote, you believe?
I would say it would truly be anyone who is going through that journey of grief, those who are trying to truly figure out what God is wanting them to do and how are they able to identify and recognize what He's wanting and requesting of us. Um, and just someone in general who is searching for something more within themselves, the
Okay.
fear that can place them in life quicksand or just a standstill. I feel that it would be something encouraging for someone and definitely um, just an example of what and how God can move in a person when you truly allow Him to.
So do you have a journal that goes with your book, or are there any questions and answers or moments of exploration that people use in the book, or is it basic just text?
Yes, it's just basically text. It's just
Okay.
kind of bringing that person along with the experience that I had with Pearlie and also with God.
Okay, so now we flash forward. I think you said it had been 5 years, and now you're sitting with your mother. And I want to reiterate that there's different types of grief. We can Grief is any loss; it doesn't have to be death. But I understand that that is the focus of your books and your material. That we focus on the loss of a loved one. So, how was your experience different with your mom, or was it different than it was when you experienced the loss of your cousin?
Definitely different in many different ways. Of course, the relationship was definitely different. Um, the approach and how I was asked to assist was different. With Pearlie, she I wasn't aware of exactly what medical things that was going on with her, nor did I ask. And that was a respect factor that was mutual. With my mom, she just told me, I'm being informed that from the doctors, they're seeing things on my lungs. And from there, I feel the similarities with that
Mm-hmm.
was in order to stay in the situation with Pearlie and my mom, I felt that my focus went in a social work component. And at that time, I was a social worker. With my mom, not so much because I moved forward in another career. However, that
Mm-hmm.
social work background still allowed me to look at that in a different way. And I I feel that that helped me in both situations because if I went and moved in the daughter role in assisting my mom,